Hello everyone, this is your instructor, Dr. Sue. Today is Monday, October 21st, 2019, and this is a very short video. It's about what we will cover this week and the following weeks. So we will be covering Module 3, Strategies for Effective Learning, and I just wanted to go briefly over what this is all about and then to go over our wiki project because it's related to Module 3. Again, before you go in and start any module or chapter, I always recommend that you go back and look at your schedule so that you can know exactly what is scheduled for the week in a suggested learning path. So this week, I decided to include an introduction to the strategies for effective learning as its own little section so that you can just go over it and see exactly how this is separated and how we will be covering that. So if you go into the module, you will see that I've listed all the 6 learning strategies that we will cover in the space of chapter 8 through chapter 10. So spacing, space practice, interleaving will be covered in chapter 8. Elaboration, concrete examples, and dual coding will be covered in chapter 9, and then retrieval practice will be covered in chapter 10. Now, the main purpose is just for you to be able to identify these, briefly know exactly what they are, like a definition of what each of the different learning strategies are, the research that goes behind it, how did they come up with that. So this is the best time to look at the Learning Scientist block. Of course, I've included some learning materials. There are some videos that I want you to watch. Very important, these are mandatory and not, you don't decide if you don't want to watch it. So these are mandatory. And then we do have a discussion board this week, which is summarizing an important article about learning strategies. So make sure you follow the question prompts and you answer questions that are listed. And don't divert too much from what the question is, or don't go off topic, but follow exactly the question prompts. And then finally, there's also a quiz that I would love you to take. If you notice, I have also opened up, chapter 8, planning learning, space practice and interleaving, just so that you can take time and just start. If you want to work ahead of time, you just take some time and start working on this chapter. So you can work ahead this week. So I've opened up 2 weeks worth of work. Now, the reason I'm doing this is at the end of this module, we will do our wiki project. If you recall, our wiki project will be done in our groups. Now, I'm opening this up so you can see our groups. Let's say you are in group 1. I expect that after, again, you can start working with this right away, or you can wait until the week, again, look at the schedule, until the week where the wiki project is due, and then you can go ahead and do that. But what is expected of a wiki project? Again, this is the second time I'm going to go over this. If you go into your group project, it gives you the instructions on what you're expected to do in the wiki. What I expect you to do is collect all the best practices that we will be talking about under the different 6 examples of learning strategies. You collect all the best practices and I want you to put together a document. You can either decide to edit the content and then you start listing the best strategies here in the form of another paper, or you can decide to create your own wiki. It will give you the option to create. It will give you the option to create. And this is right here. You can go in and create your own wiki page. So it's totally up to you. Now, what I want you to do, again, look at the wiki rubric. What I want you to do is make sure that your wiki, the content is comprehensive. It shows understanding and reflective thoughts about the different strategies and the exact best practices that you're listing. You can add research information to that just so that it supports why you're adding that strategy as a best practice. The organization, the content should be well organized, so you should put it in the form of an APA paper with a clean introduction and a supporting body of what it is. Organize the tips, and then you have a conclusion as to why. In the middle of it, make sure you always quote different or you reference different articles where you're getting that information from, or that best practice from. I also will be verifying collaboration. Remember, this is going to be a group project. However, you will also be graded as an individual. So you have to make sure you contribute greatly to the development of the wiki. You assist equally in researching and writing and editing. How do I know this? I will be able to tell because in Blackboard, we are able to tell as instructors who adds content, how much content you add, the different versions. So if you write something and you delete it, I can see it in there. So make sure you contribute a minimum of 3 things to the 3 ideas, but if you want to decide to come together as a group and have someone be a leader or have someone write the paper, go ahead and do that. I've seen one group where someone has taken the initiative and added some templates, so do that. And then for mechanics, your final draft contains no spelling and grammatical errors. This, as you can see, this is just 1 point. The others are, collaboration is 3 points, organization is 3 points, the content is 3 points. So this is how the wiki will be graded. So make sure you always read that information. These are the instructions. Again, if you do not understand, ask me a question in the course questions or in the discussion board questions. So that's briefly what I wanted to talk about in this video. Again, let me know if you have questions or concerns, and I am happy to answer them.